Hello, I am going to demonstrate how I do a twin flame love reading without a natal chart, because I'll do a combination of pulling cards, but also I will use mainly I'm going to look at your ascendantry chart, which is two individual birth charts combined. Okay, and then based off of that, it's like a compatibility meter along with looking at different placements in the combined chart. But I can't show you I'm not going to show you the chart right now. I'm just going to kind of set the intention that with the card reading, I'm looking for a certain type of markers that I would look in when I'm looking at your natal chart. Okay, because you should see it in a natal chart. You know, we're vibrating, we're made up of, energy, spirit, whatever language you want to use. So your natal chart should show you clues of certain situations of your life. Even twin flame, that's a spiritual connection. This is a spiritual relationship, okay? So also when you're dealing with things like, let's say, orishas or loas, or people saying, oh, this particular orisha rules your head. Some people have gotten, in people that understand when I'm talking about traditional African spirituality, they're getting initiated to the wrong, because there's different initiation processes that a person goes through, really intricate, really intense. And some people are going through initiation for Orisha that does not rule your head, and that's going to cause all kind of issues. So the point being, even with twin flame, some people will say that you might tell yourself that a person is your twin flame. Somebody else may tell you that. There's ways you can double check that and look in your natal chart so that you're not suffering, going through issues, creating issues for yourself based off of something that someone has told you or you believe for yourself. You should be able to look in your natal chart and be able to find placements that will be able to confirm that information. So I'm just going to kind of now, again, setting the intention of the particular markers that I look for in a zodiac, like a compatibility or a synastry chart. One would be Pisces. I'm looking for Pisces placements. I'm looking at the 12th house, which deals with like spirituality. The 9th house, which deals with philosophy, religion. Also, I'm looking at Venus placement because Venus deals with love. Okay, so there's particular placements that I'm looking for. Neptune, that planet, its placement in particular houses, okay, can speak to a twin flame, that type of relationship, but again, the natal chart is going to kind of dig into that, because it's literally showing placements of planets at the time you were born and at the time your partner was born, and it's combining, it's creating one chart. So that's really a very accurate way, I find, to be able to determine if you do, in fact, have a twin flame type of connection with someone. Okay, so let's see what we get here first. Virgo. Virgo rules the 6th house, okay, ruled by Mercury. So let's see. 9th house, okay, this is the area dealing with philosophy, religion, okay. First quarter moon, this is dealing with moon phases, okay. And then Gemini. So Gemini is considered to be the twins. So this is one particular way to be able to determine, because Gemini speaks of like duality. It speaks of double consciousness. Believing and feeling like something different about the same thing. That could occur in twin flame connections, whereas oftentimes one person may be running. You might have one person that is on the spiritual path, the other one is not. So that Gemini energy, along with the Virgo used to be considered to be the Virgin. That was the name, that was the symbol, okay, and the name for that particular zodiac sign. So this is indicating with the 9th house, it's like the purity of consciousness. It's like with this first quarter moon, if I was just kind of looking at the depiction of it or just the illumination of the moon phases, this is indicating, even especially with this Gemini card, speaking of duality, this is indicating darkness into light, the shifting of energy, a phase to one phase to the other, okay. So that particular particular like mix of energy would, to me, give me some type of indication, especially with this ninth house, that there is a spiritual connection going on. I would dig deeper though. I would dig deeper to see if there's other ish talking to the person, the situation with this person, the dynamic of what's going on in connection with a synastry chart or compatibility chart, even to confirm the cards that I'm pulling. Because again, the cards, of course, they're picking up on like celestial energy, cosmic energy. It's just working off of that. The twin flame is that's a serious type of connection. You kind of don't want to play around with that, and you want to be able to confirm things for yourself. I would not, when it deals with things like getting initiated to particular spiritual traditions, and especially when it comes to a particular orisha, which is like a spirit, or angel, some people call it, ruling your head. There is various things that are being done to you. I definitely would confirm that. There has been horror stories of people being, initiated to the wrong orisha. That's like a disaster of that. Just to kind of talk astrologically as well. That is like if the person, the orisha that is rules your head, or let's say your guardian angel, okay, the guardian angel that came down to earth with you to walk your path. Let's say it is Ogun. Ogun is similar to a Mars type energy. Mars is very aggressive. Mars is considered to be the planet of war. Ogun is very aggressive. Let's say, for instance, that is the spirit, our guardian angel that came to walk the earth with you. Why? Because there's things that you're going to deal with in life that you need that aggression to be able to move through life properly. Let's say, for instance, someone says, oh, you know what? Your guardian orisha is like, let's say, just looking at the natal charts, and those that are, they can be in placements that are in detriment. And detriment means that it's weakening its power. So let's say, for instance, someone initiates you to an energy, let's say like Libra, which is ruled by Venus. It's in its detriment at that point, because Venus, which especially in Libra, in the sign of Libra, which would be similar to like an Oshun. This could be like an Oshun type of energy, diplomatic type energy, sweet energy, cooperative energy. Ogun does not, or Mars type of energy does not want to cooperate with you. It does not. It wants to go to war. It's going to annihilate. It's going to win. That's what it wants to do. Libra energy is not about winning. It is about cooperating. So these are opposing, you do see, and so that energy, that's opposing energy. So you will have all kinds of issues in your life. If you get initiated into being initiated into like Oshun is your path, and especially if you're someone that is, and I don't know the pronouns now, but you were born, male, I don't know what the pronouns, so hopefully I'm not offending anyone, but you were born, like a male, but you have changed. Now you consider yourself to be a female. It will be convincing to you to get initiated to Oshun, because Oshun is said to like homo. That's that energy that it works very well with, said to kind of a lot of, masculine, men that are more feminine energy, and their feminine energy are said to kind of like work well, or be like Oshun, be their guardian orisha. But that might not be the case though. It might not be the case. It might make sense because it fits that particular template. But if you look at your natal chart, you'll be able to confirm that. Why? Look at like the North Node. What planet was in the North Node? Your North Node speaks to your destiny. Look at Chiron. Chiron is the asteroid considered to be wounded healer. Look at what house, which is the placement or area of life, these particular celestial bodies are placed in, because you will be able to answer these questions yourself. You don't need an Oshun type of energy if you have found that in life you have combated a lot of different injustices and situations. Yes, sometimes cooperation that's the way, but sometimes you need courage. You need, not to say just go to war, but aggression, but also Aries and Mars energy speaks to confidence, self-assuredness. When people are constantly telling you you're not who you are, you're not really this, you're not a male, you're a female, and all these things, you have to have courage in your confidence in yourself to be able to stand up against that. You don't want to have to compromise with people about who you are. So that would be problematic in you being able to walk your destiny out successfully. So point being, you want to be able to confirm for yourself when you're dealing with some deep issues, things that are tied to your destiny, which a twin flame relationship is tied to your destiny. An Orisha or a guardian angel ruling your head, or you being initiated into a certain path, that's speaking to your destiny. That angel came down with you in order to facilitate the process of allowing you to reach your destiny. You don't want to play around with those things, and you don't want to take somebody else's opinion without having some type of concrete way for you to be able to confirm it. Show me your natal chart. Even if you're walking in traditional religion, I'll be able to look in your like Orisha, like Yoruba base or Santeria, Candomblé, even voodoo. If you tell me a particular Loa or Orisha is ruling your head, even if you are in another tradition, Hinduism, where you have Lakshmi. If you tell me these particular, I'm working with Lakshmi because I'm going to be able to look in your natal chart and see if that placement, because again, Lakshmi is similar to a Venus type of an energy. You would have Venus placements in certain areas of your chart. Okay. So you don't want to just do things because everybody, you can't use the same method that everybody. You can't go on Google and Google something or take somebody's opinion and take it at face value. What works for one will not work for another. It won't. You have a different destiny, you have different characteristics, you have different strength, and you have different weaknesses. Also, there are certain spirits, certain energies that you cannot do certain things with. You can't mix these things together. You mix it together, it's almost like mixing gas and fire. You can't do these types of things and think that what you're doing is going to be successful. It is not. You're going to create a catastrophe and you're going to create a problem. So it's important to be able to do due diligence, especially when you're dealing with things connected to your destiny. There's some things also, serious situations, where it will take, let's say you're older in life. If you're in your 20s, some people in their 20s never bounce back. They have a bad relationship, hit a bad spot in their life, they never bounce back. Okay, they never make it out of a certain situation. So it's not just age, but again, if once you start getting even older, sometimes when you're younger, you feel like, at least you're invincible. You have time on your hand, so to speak. When you get older, you don't have time to be making those types of mistakes like that. So it's also important when you start aging in life to use discretion on the ways and the methods that you use in order to facilitate growth or changes in your life, because you don't have the time in that situation to be able to bounce back from failed scenarios, failed situations, based off of just taking blanket statements and anecdotes that may not necessarily apply to you, that might create all type of havoc and confusion in your world. You start mixing certain things together and there's havoc, for lack of a better word. But again, speaking of that Ogun energy, speaking from an Orisha, traditional African tradition standpoint, or a spiritual standpoint, versus an astrological standpoint, being Mars, Ogun being that Mars energy, very aggressive type of energy. And that energy, you don't want to, you don't want to use that particular type of an energy, to be able to deal in certain scenarios. And also your path in life, your ruler, your chart ruler, all these things are important in order to determine what is guiding you through life. What do you need an extra oomph of in order to make it through certain situations? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it with that. Before we go, I'm just going to pull one last card from another card deck that I have. This is an astrology card. I like this one because it has words on there, statements. And again, what to look for, in a twin flame connection. If you are for yourself, doing the research, doing the work to try to determine what type of relationship you have with someone. You might keep feeling this pull toward a certain person. There might be situations going on in your relationship. You can't quite figure them out. What to look for, what's helpful to look for as you kind of start that journey and of doing the work to be able to, first of all, determine is what you have with a particular person, is it a twin flame connection? Okay. Fire. Fire, okay, is also this is a Mars type of an energy. Mars is a fire sign. So this is more so the beginning stages of something, okay? You can look for certain things in the beginning. The hallmark of a twin flame connection, flame, fire. What do you look for? Things to look for are like spirituality, growth, destiny, path. Is it ushering you, pushing you to be on your spiritual path, your spiritual P's and Q's? Is that other person doing that? Okay, those are key. Is it evoking the desire to walk a spiritual path? That's a key right there. Okay, there's other ways, to be able to look at those things and kind of delve into it. There's books on it, articles on it, but to start. What is it spark? What is the relationship sparking in you? Okay, if it's just sparking toxicity, although people speak of twin flame connections being very toxic, if it's just sparking toxicity and creating toxicity, that does not mean that is a twin flame connection. Although it could be fire, a lot of passion, that is not a marker of a twin flame connection. Now, if it's sparking ego, that could be ego attachments. Okay, and that's not a twin flame connection, okay? That's not a way, I should say, of determining it. Spiritual growth, spiritual evolution, soul development, destiny, being on the path of your destiny. Do you know what your destiny is, okay? Determining that, but starting there is a good way to be able to embark on the journey of knowing whether or not you have a twin flame connection with someone, or if you don't.